Hey everyone, it's me again, and oh my god, my week has been so busy. A lot of you know I normally, upload on Sundays, and I usually film on Wednesdays, so I have plenty of time to edit and let my slow-ass DSL internet upload the video, but it's Friday, and I'm just now sitting down to film. This is the first free minute I've gotten in, like, a week and a half. So, I've had appointments, my appointments have had appointments. It's a really complicated situation. If you're new to my channel, welcome to my little corner of the internet. My name's Faith Grenade and I put makeup videos here on YouTube. You should subscribe. What we're running into here is I'm kind of combining it as a Faith's Feels and a Faith's Finds, because Faith's Feels is where I express my feels or my thoughts about something. Usually it's a review of a makeup product, but every now and again I will bring other products, bags, that sort of thing, or talk about, other issues. And then Faith's Finds is where I show you things that I found, things that I've discovered in my makeup obsession. As we have transitioned into the year 2017, a lot of people are making New Year's resolutions. Now, I'm not the kind of person who makes New Year's resolutions because I don't reserve goal setting for just New Year's. I'm constantly setting goals for myself. I'm constantly giving myself, things to do and things to accomplish. I'm constantly setting goals for myself. But since it's a new year and since there's this kind of feeling of transition, there's this feeling of a fresh start, especially after how difficult 2016 was, I figured I would give myself a goal that I would share with you guys. And that goal is to brush up more on my makeup research, because as crucial as practicing the application of makeup is, and it's super important, don't get me wrong, it's also incredibly important to do research on makeup, because practicing is uber important, but it's also important to, enrich your brain, to really pick through literature and, especially if you're this passionate about something, if it's something that you absolutely love, that you live and breathe for, that you wake up in the morning for, that you dream about, it's important to kind of really absorb as much knowledge as you can from as many sources as you can. My goal for the year 2017 is I have a reading list of makeup books about makeup or books about, common kind of practices that are associated with makeup artistry, and we'll kind of get into that. But I have a reading list, and my goal in 2017 is to finish this entire list of books. I have all kinds of books that are covering all different spans. As I'm counting, there are 6 in total, and my goal for 2017 is to get as close to finishing all 6 of these books as humanly possible. And I figured I could walk you guys through this reading list, not only to keep myself accountable, but to give you guys some recommendations for awesome makeup literature. First, I'll talk about some of the books that I've read already. The 2 books I've read already are 2 of Kevin Aucoin's books, which I think are essential to anyone who gets into makeup, particularly if you want to pursue artistry as a career, but they're good makeup books to have anyway. They're great table reading, they're really easy to read, it's not something that's like super technical or complicated. Kevin Aucoin explained everything very simply, and they're very fun books to read, and they offer an insight into where makeup was when these books were written, in like the mid to late 90s. These are where some of the most important philosophies about makeup that we still use today, the fact that makeup is for everyone, the fact that makeup is meant to be fun, that there are no rules to it, that's where all of this started to come about, was with Kevin Aucoin, with, his books. So those 2 books are Making Faces and Faces Forward. They look like this. I don't have them with me because they're on a boat being shipped here, but I have already read both of those books. They're fantastic. Kevin Aquan really knew how to write for the everyday person. He doesn't make you feel stupid. He doesn't make you feel like you have to do anything. And he talks about some really important things to do with makeup. So if you are interested in makeup at all, and particularly if you're interested in makeup as a career, these two must reads. The other book I don't have that I have to read, the first one on my reading list for 2017, is Face Paint, The History of Makeup. Looks like this. It's written by Lisa Eldridge, who is one of the most fantastic makeup artists on the planet right now. She works red carpet, she works photo shoots. She is, you know, a stunningly talented woman, and I started reading her book toward the end of 2016, but of course, you know, 2016 kind of took a shit straight on my chest, so I had to sort of put that on hold while I was taking care of like real life stuff, but her book is fantastic. It's a history of makeup, but it doesn't make you feel like you're in one of those like really drudgy, boring history classes. It's formatted in a way that makes it really interesting and really compelling, and I can't read that book not in her voice. Like, I hear her voice in my head when I'm reading it, but definitely going to be reading that. Super important, particularly for anybody who is interested in pursuing makeup as a career. You know, as with any discipline, you really have to, you know, dredge yourself in the history of your discipline. You know, if you want to go into the performing arts, if you want to go into burlesque, you should be researching the history of burlesque, where it came from, what it talked about, you know, the context historically that it, you know, that it rose out of. So, you know, I think it's just as important to do that in makeup artistry too. So I'm definitely going to be reading that book pronto. So the next one on my list is one that I just picked up recently. It is the Bobbi Brown Makeup Manual. I held off on this for a long time because I thought it was just going to be like, oh, you know, it's a makeup manual. It shows like how to put on blush. I already know how to do that. But the more I saw it, the more I was like, you know, if it's something that's called the Makeup Manual, this is something I should probably at least have in my library, and I do want to read it in its entirety because even if it's all things I already know, it's important to have yourself grounded in the fundamentals, grounded in the basics. And it does talk about quite a few, you know, important things like, you know, lifestyle and how lifestyle affects your skin, and, you know, how important skincare is and what kind of skincare you should be using at different stages in your life. It's a very comprehensive makeup book that actually covers like application technique, because there's a lot of books that talk about the philosophy of makeup, but there isn't a lot that talk about the application of makeup. And this definitely goes into that. It's a very comprehensive book. It's very easy to read, at least from what I've experienced so far. There's a lot of beautiful, vibrant pictures in here, which I love a good book with pictures. It also talks about the industry of makeup and how to break into the makeup business as an artist, which is equally important to know. So this is definitely on my list of books to read this year. This one I picked up off of Amazon. All the rest of these were from an Amazon order. And this is Sephora, The Ultimate Guide to Makeup, Skin, and Hair from the Beauty Authority. Did you guys know Sephora had a book? I had no idea Sephora had a book. So naturally I bought it. I'm not really sure like what this is, whether it's just some big catalog or anything. I haven't had the chance to flip through it at all yet. I don't know if this is just going to be some big advertisement or even if it's going to be relevant to these days, because this book was published in 2008. Okay, so it's not terribly old, but I figured I could glean some stuff from this. And I mean, if I'm going to be working in the makeup industry, I'm going to be intimately acquainted with Sephora, so I might as well, you know, read their literature. Why not? My next book is The Makeup Artist Handbook, 2nd edition by Gretchen Davis and Mindy Hall, Techniques for Film, Television, Photography, and Theater. This is, again, another Amazon find, and this one is a book that is actually used as a textbook in a lot of makeup schools. And that's sort of where I started. Like, if you're really looking to break into a certain industry, even if you can't afford to go to institutionalized education, Google what textbooks they're using. They're online and you can find the textbooks most of the time for fairly cheap, and you can get them and read them and educate yourself. So this is a pro book. This is like, you're studying to be a makeup artist. This covers film, television, photography, and stage, which I really want to brush up on because I do know a good bit about stage makeup, having worked in the performing industry for a long time now, but I do want to really build my technique for photos and for television, so for like screens and whatnot. So this looks like it will be a great resource for that. There's a lot of kind of basic techniques. There's a lot of special effects techniques in here. It looks like they've got some like wrinkle stuff, some scabs and scarring, how to play makeup with lighting and things like that. So this is a really important book. I can't wait to crack into it. The complete special effects, or the complete guide to special effects makeup. This is Conceptual Creations by Japanese Makeup Artists, and this book was written and published by the Tokyo Special Effects Makeup Workshop in Japan. So this is all special effects. This is mold making, this is appliances, this is like the big stuff. And special effects is something that I really think is a hole in my makeup expertise. I don't know a whole lot about special effects. I'm not very well versed in it beyond, basic wounds and stuff like that. But this looks like it's really going to show you, step by step how to do things. You've got some basic techniques here, Wednesday Addams. They've got quite a few looks that go step by step in how to do certain special effects techniques. And it's got some stunning photos. I mean, I'm really looking forward to cracking into this because it's a realm of makeup that I don't really know a whole lot about. And it looks like it's a pretty short book too. So hopefully I'll be able to blast through this no problem. And then finally, the last book on my reading list for this year is Color, A Course in Mastering the Art of Mixing Colors by Betty Edwards. When you look up reading lists for professional makeup artists or for those educating themselves to be makeup artists, this book comes up all the time. This is a book about color theory, which is something that I've discussed very loosely on my channel before, but color theory is used by every visual artist, and it's the art of combining and mixing and, displaying color. You ask yourself a lot, or I get asked a lot, what lipstick do I pair with this eye look? Or how do I know this blush is going to look good with this eyeshadow or this lipstick or whatever? This is how you figure that out, is by educating yourself on color theory. Why colors are used, what colors work with what in what ways, complementary colors, contrasting colors, that kind of thing. This is all about color, and I can't wait to actually give myself a more formal education into the science of color and the science of mixing and combining colors in a way that will be pleasing to the eye or that will communicate a message. So I'm really, really excited about this. This isn't so much about makeup itself, but it is it's one of the fundamentals of makeup, really, is color theory and understanding color and understanding tones and undertones and hues and things like that. So this is one I've already started cracking into, that I'm going to be reading first, and I will probably be repeat reading this quite a few times just to drill it into my head. I know, quick video this week, but this is basically all I had time for, if I'm honest. And, I think it's important to share with you guys how I'm educating myself, because I'm self-taught, because I'm not going to a formal makeup school. I might go to esthetician school later on, but that only has a loose, kind of unit on makeup application, and that's about it. But I think it's important for people who are interested in teaching themselves how to do makeup that there are resources out there, and there are ways to educate yourself in a more traditional fashion, on top of putting those techniques into practice on your face. So that's about it for me. Leave it in the comments, guys. Are there any books about makeup or about, you know, concepts that are associated with makeup that you are looking to read this year? Are any of these books standing out to you as something that you might want to check out? I'll leave links to as much as possible in the description box, so check that out. There's a lot of good resources there, and you can find these books and all that sort of stuff. So that's about it for me. I hope you guys found this video helpful, informative, or entertaining. If you did, there's a button for that. Spank that like button in the butt. You know it deserves it. And if you want to see more from me, you've got a couple options now. You can either click one of the videos on either side of my head to see what I've got going on in the past, or you can click that button that looks like my face and subscribe. I put out new videos every Sunday, and if you want to know the instant my videos go live, there's a little bell down there next to the subscribe button, so go ahead and hit that. It will send you a notification every time I upload. So thank you guys so much for watching and joining me today, and I will see you in the next video. Toodles!